Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Today is Sunday morning, September 3rd, 2023, and I haven't made a video since right after Hurricane Idalia came through, and we were still in the rain bands, probably for what seemed like, I don't know, 24 hours after it went north, cut through the panhandle of Florida, up into Georgia. There's these rain bands, and we were already 3, 4, probably at least 400 miles away, 500 possibly, still getting rain bands coming through our area. So I haven't made a video since then. The missus is sleeping this morning, so I thought I would come out, have a cup of coffee with you guys, and just talk about our vacation, which is coming to an end, in case you didn't know. Tomorrow morning, we're going to head home back to Central Illinois. So we're just kind of, today, we're going to go out with some family members for lunch. We've been having a great time this week. It's been phenomenal. But I wanted to get together and talk a little bit about road tripping the Chevy Bolt. I'm not telling you anything most people don't already know. It's not a road tripping pleasure. Let's say that. If you're a person like me, I like to go. If I'm leaving Illinois and I want to go to Florida, I mean, I'd be okay with stopping, like, I don't know, 3 times in 1,250 miles. That's it. My wife's van, I mean, we can go 500 miles on a tank of gas. And if she's sleeping, we can just drive and drive and drive until somebody needs to use the restroom, or until we need a snack, because we can go down past Nashville's about 450 miles from our house. We can go down south of Nashville before we ever even need gas. So even though I knew it in a Chevy Bolt, several people, out of spec had done some road tripping. Kyle Connor, Tom Malogny did the 70-mile-an-hour range test. Everybody knows the information, and I did too. I've researched this beyond belief. But when you put it in play, and every couple of hours you need to stop, and for the Bolt you need to stop for about 45 minutes. You're not stopping, like a Tesla for 15, 20 minutes. You're trying to grab an extra 150 miles or whatever you're trying to get, and it just doesn't charge fast. It's fast, but not not Tesla fast, not Porsche fast. Some of these cars that can take 250, kilowatts of energy on a lower state of charge. Well, you don't need to stay long at a charger, maybe enough time to run in, use a restroom, come back. And a lot of times, as Tesla owners say, it's already got it mapped out and told you, okay, you're ready to, let's go, unplug and get to getting. But what I wanted to add into that is, even with Teslas, the range is going to be similar to mine, unless you get a long-range vehicle. If you get a Tesla, Model 3 long range or a Model Y long range, they may have over 300 miles, but at highway speeds, probably not. It's going to be cut back on highway speeds. You're going to have to deal with, okay, well, every 2.5 hours, I need to get out of the car and I got to stop. Now the stops are way shorter. And so if you're a guy like me, I'm not sure even road tripping a Tesla would make me happy. Now, would I like to stop for 15 or 20 minutes on a charge and get going? Yes. But if you're stopping 7, like we stopped at 7 charging locations on the way to Florida. I left with 100% charge the morning that we left, and I'm sorry if there's a glare off over here on the side. I don't know where that came from. I guess the sun's coming up over here. So, but I left with 100% charge, and then as many of you know, we went down to like near St. Louis, Collinsville, Illinois area, 150, probably 150 miles away, 160, something like that. And then we needed a charge. And it's our regular route. I mean, it's only a few miles out of the way to where this charger was at that we went to. So it wasn't like we were going in the opposite direction or anything like that. It's just that we had to stop. Now, normally, when we leave and we come this same route, I would never stop in southern Illinois or in near St. Louis. We would go, actually, sometimes we drive to Paducah, which is 300 miles from home. Sometimes we drive, if we're doing well, sometimes we'll go to Clarksville, which is 400 miles from home. And it just all depends. So if we stop in Paducah or let's say Clarksville, if we stop in Clarksville, Tennessee, I went 400 miles. Okay. Before we stop, and that is, we don't have to get, I can get gas there, that's fine. I don't have to get gas though. But if I stop there and I refuel in my minivan, that's one stop and I'm 400 miles away. Well, in my Bolt, I will have stopped in Collinsville area, or O'Fallon, I think it was. Then I stopped in Paducah, and each of those times I had to spend at least 45 minutes on those stops to get to my next stop, which would have been in Nashville. So, and my gas stop might be 10, 15 minutes. You know, I love my electric car. I don't, but I'm honest. I want people to understand something. I'm not going to come out here and lie about this is the greatest thing ever invented. Oh, the world, you know, needs to just all need to make electric cars. Electric cars are not for everybody. Everybody needs to pick what is best for them. My hybrid Prius for 13 years was the best vehicle I ever had. We took it to Florida dozens and dozens of times. I loved it. But I wanted to try full electric, and I'm very happy with it. It excels around our area for what we do. Man, I save tons of money on fuel. And I get, like I said, I get between 300 and 325 miles of charge because it's stop and go traffic, stop and go, stop and go. All that regenerative braking, which, well, I never touch the brakes, but it's got a one pedal driving. All of that goes back into the batteries. It's all going back. But I don't want to get off task too much. I want to keep talking about our vacation. I saw some interviews where, you know, the Bolt is not a good road trip vehicle. The Bolt is really not made for road tripping, and I've seen comments from people out there that it's not possible, not humanly possible to drive. Well, that just tells me that it's time to go do that and show people it is definitely possible, okay? You know, we are in South Florida. Yes, I had to make 7 charging stops along the way. Not fun for me. Not fun. But definitely doable. It was a 2-day trip. We went halfway, got a beautiful hotel, great breakfast. Next day, we went the second half of the way. So if you ask, well, I'd say 90% of everybody who goes, let's say from our area in central Illinois to Florida, you know, well, how long of a trip is it? Oh, it's a 2-day trip. Oh, they all go 2 days. Now, my first day, you know, we didn't get in until about 9 o'clock in the evening. So we left at 6 in the morning. We drove. So that was a long day. Now, in my minivan, my wife's minivan, we probably would have been, if we drove for that amount of time, that's almost 15 hours. We would have been 3 or 4 hours further down the road. So we could have been 300 miles further south. Okay? We would have been south of Atlanta versus being in Chattanooga. We would have been south of Atlanta, central Georgia. Then our second day, we would have gotten in sometime after lunch, maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:30, sometimes 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You're in. Well, if you watched my earlier video, we didn't get in till like 10 o'clock at night. 9 or 10 o'clock, I don't remember now. So you have 2 long days on a road trip. I probably added, if I had to guess, I probably added at least 6 hours to my road trip. Now, was it 3 months more? No. Was it 2 weeks longer? No. As I've had several conversations with family members and stuff, they can't wrap their head around. Well, you made it. It didn't take you a month. It didn't take you 3 weeks. No. And I think the misconception is sometimes people think, oh, like if I tell them, hey, you can charge this car on a regular 110 plug that you plug your toaster in the kitchen. Now, you only get like 3 or 4 miles per hour at that rate. Okay? So if you did the math, that's 1 or 2 kilowatts an hour. Very slow. That could take you, from dead empty, that could take you a day and a half to charge up. And I think that's the mentality that people have, that, oh, okay, so you drive it till it's empty, and then you plug it in for a day and a half, and then you drive another couple hundred miles, then you plug it in for a day and a half. Okay, that is the slowest of the slowest of the slow level 1 chargers, okay? So, then there's level 2 chargers, been over this before, but for those that haven't seen that, level 2 chargers that's what I have in my garage. It is basically, it's called a NEMA 1450. It is an electric dryer plug. If you have an electric dryer in your house, that's the plug that I have. That charges perfectly it takes about, if I rolled in dead empty, and mine's a 32 amp, they've got them 40 amp, 48 amp. They've got bigger ones. Still same plug. It just, some of them are faster than others. Mine charges between 25 and 30 miles per hour. Okay? So if you do the math, if I rolled into the garage dead empty, say at, 9 o'clock at night, by about 5 or 6 in the morning, it's fully charged. 100%. Boom. Ready to go again. Ready to go another 300 miles. So it charges really quickly, and it's perfect. I don't ever like to just like you with your gas car. How many of you roll into your garage with, oh, I have 1 mile left on my tank, hope I can make it to the gas station tomorrow? You don't do that, even if your low fuel light's on. Yes, I'm talking to my daughters. Even if your low fuel light's on, you still got 25 miles left or whatever to get to the gas station. And that's what I like to stay. If I roll in with 25 miles left on my car at night, that's basically 10%. Well, now I only get, and I don't always charge to 100%. Sometime if I'm going to be Uber driving, I'll charge to 90, sometimes to 100%. If I think it's going to work, if I'm going to work 5 or 6 hours and I want to have the capability of going 150 miles, 175 miles, and still having a bunch of charge left, then I'll charge it to 100. But normally, for any of my videos you've watched, if I am Uber driving, I could go from 10% to 90%. Takes about 6 hours, maybe. That's it. It's fully charged, boom, ready to go. And I stop the charge at 5:30 in the morning so that I can get out and work a morning shift around the Peoria, Bloomington area. So that's perfect for me. But we wanted to test this vehicle. I've heard so much negative comments from people about how it couldn't do it. It's not humanly possible. Oh, people faked their trips. That is so, I don't know. 10 years ago, I guess, or whatever. Well, the Bolt's only been made since 2017. But for anyone who owns one, and I've seen a lot in the comments, for anyone who actually owns a Bolt, they know how good they are. What I think is hilarious is some of the comments about people that say stuff that have no clue what they're talking about. Have no idea. I don't know if they just woke up at a bar. I don't know what happened to them, but they'll spout something off that you're like, no, that's wrong. No, that's not even close to being true. I don't know what fairy tale you heard that from or what bar you were sitting at and made up stories, you know. So there's a lot of that out there, that people who don't know what they're talking about talk a lot. And there's some people that we know who they are that do that a lot. So I want to speak firsthand. I won't lie to you and say this car is everybody in the United States needs to buy a Chevy Bolt. That is not true. That is not at all true. At what it is built for, it is perfect. Now, quality-wise, I don't know. I can't tell you that I'm going to be driving this with 200,000 miles and having never been to the shop and say, wow, you know, I got 200,000 miles on it, and all I've done is put a couple sets of tires on it, and I replaced the windshield wipers. I can't tell you that. What I can tell you is about every 5,000 miles, from 10, 15, 20, 25, I'm going to keep doing a review and let you know how things are holding up, let you know how things are progressing or regressing. But I'm not going to lie to you. If something's wrong, I'll be the first to tell you. If something's right, I'll be the first to tell you. So I want people to understand this is truthful. The good, the bad, the ugly, no matter what happens, this is what's going on. So, but anyway, again, I kind of went on a small rant. I wanted to do this morning. I went down to the local Nissan dealer, which is really close to our condo in South Florida, and they have free, to me, charging. So I have pulled in to grab some free charge, and just thought that I would make this video, and I won't make it too long. I'm sorry I kept going. So with that, let me get out of your hair, and I'll see if I can get this uploaded. But we're heading home tomorrow, guys. Take care.